Let's talk about something we all desperately need, but let's be honest, almost never get. Real, honest-to-goodness quiet. We're going to dive into the science of how silence isn't just, the absence of noise. It's actually a powerful tool that can literally reset your brain.
So, let me just ask you this straight up. Ever feel like your brain has way too many tabs open at once? That feeling of being totally cluttered and just mentally exhausted? Yeah, we all know that one. But what if you could actually hit a hard reset on that feeling? And here's the most important thing to get right away. If you feel that way, it is not a personal failure. It's not your fault. It's just a natural reaction to the nonstop flood of noise and information that we're all swimming in. Our brains just weren't designed for this kind of constant input.
So the solution is to completely change how we think about silence. It's not some empty space that we need to fill with a podcast or music. No, think of it as an active, essential tool for restoration. Let's dig into the biology of how this works.
Okay, here's a key player. The parasympathetic nervous system. I know it's a mouthful, but all you need to know is that it's your body's built-in calm-down switch. It's the total opposite of that stressed-out fight-or-flight feeling we know all too well.
Right? So here's the breakdown. Most of us spend our days in that fight or flight mode, right? It's triggered by deadlines, traffic, notifications, all that noise. It's great for short-term survival. But this other state, rest and digest, that's where long-term healing happens. And guess what the key is to unlock it? You got it. Quiet.
So how does this healing actually happen? It's a really simple but super powerful three-step process. First, you just cut down on the outside noise. That alone tells your body, hey, you're safe, which flips on that rest and digest system. And then, step 3, that's where the magic really starts. Your brain finally gets to do its deep processing work.
So what is this deep processing? What's actually happening inside your head when things get quiet? Well, it all comes down to this really cool concept called micro-progress. Let that idea just sit there for a second. Micro-progress. It's not about having some giant world-changing epiphany. It's about the small, critical, behind-the-scenes work your brain does to get organized when it finally gets a break.
Think of it this way. Your brain is like an inbox that's getting flooded with emails all day long. When you finally find some quiet, it's like you've paused the incoming messages. Your brain can finally stop taking new stuff in and start sorting through everything that's already there. It files away memories, finds new connections between ideas. It finally starts to declutter.
And this whole mental decluttering thing gives us two huge, scientifically backed benefits. Let's break those down.
Okay, so benefit number 1 is that mental decluttering we just talked about, tidying up the mental workspace. But benefit number 2 is what that tidying allows for, deep processing. This is where your creativity and problem solving really come alive. And if you've ever heard people talk about forest bathing, well, this is the science behind it. It's not just about the trees, it's about giving your brain the quiet it needs to achieve this micro progress.
All right, so we've covered the why. Now let's get practical. How do you actually harness this power for yourself? The great news is you really don't have to go on a week-long silent retreat in the mountains.
Here's your simple starting toolkit. Try taking a quiet walk, and maybe leave the earbuds at home just this once. Look for those tiny pockets of silence in your day. Maybe it's the 2 minutes in your car after you've parked. The goal is just to give your mind that little bit of empty space to work with. Seriously, you can start with just 5 minutes. That's all it takes to get things started.
So I'll just leave you with this thought. In a world that is constantly screaming for your attention, what could happen if you intentionally decided to listen to the quiet for a change? What kind of amazing ideas, or maybe just what kind of peace, will you let your mind discover?